It's that time of year again. It is vision board time. In this video, I'm going to walk you through my particular way of making vision boards that work. You see, there's lots of videos out there on how to create vision boards, but so many of them are all about taking pretty pictures and posting them up on boards. But as a life coach, I know that it's not just the images that are going to work for you. We have to have the belief system behind it. And that is all about mindset. So in this video, I'm going to give you a condensed coaching session on how to create a vision board, but how to do it in a way that is going to work and provide you with the life that you love come a year from now. So stay tuned until the end, because then I'm going to show you and offer you a way to download my vision board workbook. I'm going to walk you through each step by step in this video now. Why typically don't vision boards work? As I mentioned before, vision boards tend to get a bad rap because everybody pours into making them pretty on Pinterest or Canva, but they're not actually putting the mindset coaching part into it. And so you have a bunch of pictures up there, and you might even have a desire to increase your business or really put money in the bank for savings to buy a house. But if we haven't identified that you have a belief that you're not somebody that's good with money, or that you could ever save money, or that you don't believe that there's enough clients or customers out there to grow your business, then those pictures can stay on that board as long as you want, but if you don't have the belief behind it, it ain't gonna happen. So that's what we're gonna walk through here. I'm gonna break this down into 3 sections. We're gonna do the clarity, we're gonna give vision, and then we're gonna get into the implementation and the action. And that's typically all that people do is like, let's make the board. But I'm gonna give you the behind the scenes of what a coach, a life coach does with her clients to ensure that my clients are able to create the life that they want. Are you ready? Let's get started. What I love reminding ourselves about is that each and every one of us has such unique desires and dreams within us. And so the first part of the workbook that you're going to walk through is we're going to actually start to tap into what those dreams are for you. And in order to recognize what they are, we need to get a really clear locator, if you will, as to where you currently are in your life. So a journal prompt that I ask in the workbook, that again you can download here, is what has worked this past year for you? We want to see and really take and acknowledge the successes that you have had. Why reinvent the wheel? Let's look at all the things that have worked. So I'm going to have you document those onto a sheet. And then I ask the question, what didn't work? And this isn't coming from a place of judgment or shame. This is simply coming from observing what maybe did you have on your board last year that you didn't materialize. That's a really good indicator to think there's a mindset shift that needs to happen in that. Or there's habits and behaviors that need some tweaking in order to make it happen. So it's a really good question to ask. And then the third question to ask is, what do I now want to do differently this coming year? And I love, and I ask myself all the time of, what do I actually want to let go of and do less of this year? And what do I want to receive and do more of this coming year? And I know for myself, there's been way too many scrolling on Instagram and Facebook. So I'm actually setting a reminder each week to look at the length of time that I am on Instagram and Facebook, so that I am really aware of where my idle time is being spent. And I would really be preferred to reading more books. So that definitely is going to be going on my vision board. So those are questions that I'm going to ask of you in the workbook here, so that you could actually start to get a foundation of what worked well, what didn't, without any shame or blame, and then what do you want to do differently this coming year. Now we're going to move on to your visions and your dreams for your life. In this section, I love reminding ourselves that the people that we often admire are ones that have vision boards and speak so highly about them. And they're people like Oprah, who has always said that she journals and visualizes the life that she wants to create. Deepak Chopra is a huge proponent for visualization and for vision boards.
You can fulfill any desire in life that you want, because inherent in having the desire is the mechanics for its fulfillment. I don't have the same desires as you because nature gave me those desires that nature means to fulfill through me.
And Gabby Bernstein, who I absolutely adore, and she is a coach in a program that I've been in before, is one about manifestation, about really sitting in the dreams and desires that are unique to each and every one of us.
We all have the capacity to tune into the energy of service and love and faith and joy. And in the energy of that love and service and faith and joy, anything is possible, my friends. Anything is possible.
So in this section, I want to really encourage us to start dreaming. But here's the thing, so many of us, and I know this was my holdup for years before I really did the work to look at my brain, was I believed that dreams were only possible on paper. I didn't necessarily believe that they could come to real life. What is your thought and belief about your life and the dreams that you have for your life? That's what we need to really start to lean into. And sometimes it can become a little overwhelming to think of, well, what is it? What dreams do I have that I want for my life? So I have broken it down into a really fun exercise in this workbook that's going to help you identify with the areas that you want. The best way to identify the dreams and desires in your life is I use a wheel of life. Now, you might be familiar with, or it might be it's something completely new, but it is a circle, if you will, of all of the different quadrants of your life. In mine, I have listed out the finances. So finances, or the financials or money. I've listed out love and marriage. I've listed out health, career and business, spirituality, contribution, which is like volunteer work and generosity, relationship, and fitness. Now, in your wheel of life, you can use and plug in as whatever pillars make sense to you. But here's what I have found super helpful is looking at my life and these pillars that make up the whole combination of me and who Lori Shopland is. And then this time around, what I have found super helpful is that I've then assigned an emotion to how I want to feel in each of those quadrants. So for my finances, I want to feel abundant. For my love, I want to feel connected. For my health, committed. For my career, impactful. For my spirituality, I want to feel aligned. For my contribution, I want to feel generous. In my relationships, I want to feel present. And in my fitness, I want to feel strong. So those are indicators for me of how I want to be in this coming year. Because it's not so much about the doing, as it is the woman that I am becoming who creates the life on this board. So I have all of these array of emotions, and being an emotional well-being expert, that's what I train and I coach on, is that it really does elevate us to know then if I'm thinking about my marriage for the year ahead and I'm thinking that I want to feel connected, then my brain's going to get to work on how is that going to happen and what's that going to look like. The same goes with if I want to build and create abundance, that abundant feeling in my finances, then my brain's going to go to work to be able to find ways in order to do that. And there's science behind this. It's called your reticular activator system. And it's actually a part of our brain that takes images to be able to forecast what it is that we want to create in our life. And that's why vision boards are so powerful. So now that you have all of your emotions attached to the wheel and the pillars in your life, what you want to do next is pick one grounding foundational emotion that you want to make decisions from for the full year. And for me, that is trust. It might be abundance for you. It could be peace for you. It could be confidence for you, whatever that is. And again, in my vision board workbook, I've listed out a number of different words that you could choose from. But for me, it's trust. Trust for me is in my faith and in God, and trust in myself. And I know then if I'm able to trust myself and God in all of those areas, then man, do I ever feel more confident and empowered moving forward to create all of those visions on my board. What's your word going to be this year? So now that you have your wheel complete and you would have each of the quadrants or spokes that make sense to you and all of the emotions around it that are going to be your driving force, and then your foundational emotion that's going to move you forward throughout this next year. Then on the next sheet I have in the workbook there's a page in here where it lists out all of the quadrants. So if some of mine are different than yours, then just scratch it out. It's not a problem. But then list out what the goal is, and then list out what images will help you feel motivated once you look at your vision board. And a great example might be in this little picture down here, there's a family running on a beach. And one of the goals that I have for relationships is to treat our family. We have 3 kids, 2 of them are married, and 4 grandbabies. And we want to treat all of them to a holiday. So this to me is in the back of my brain, always looking at this going, oh, wait a minute, that's what we're working towards, is to be able to move in that direction of having the abundant finances so that we can treat our family to this trip. That is what is going to the image that I pulled off of that. What is that going to be for you? And so now we get to the actual fun part of making the board. And this is the implementation. So to clarify, what we've done is we've gotten clarity as to what's worked, what hasn't worked, and what do you want to do differently. And we've asked those questions and gotten in there. We've then actually looked at the wheel of life and all of the different quadrants on there that work for you and the emotions that you're wanting to create in that. And then that one main emotion that's going to drive you forward. And for me, it was trust. And then we were going to list out what goals do you want to work towards in each of those quadrants, and then what images are going to make sense to you to put on your board. Now you get to go to work and have fun doing it. So you can go old style and have a big poster board that we used to do projects on in high school and cut and paste pictures from magazines or print them off out of Pinterest off of the computer and then put them on the board. Or you could actually do a template from Pinterest or from Canva. And that's exactly the one that I used here, was a Canva template. And you'll see here that I've incorporated stock images as well as I've incorporated images here that are of myself in my real life. Because remember that one question of what is working and I want to continue it. Well, my fitness regime I kind of got that dialed in. So I want to just continue doing that. And Gemini and our business is growing and it's really doing well. So I want to increase that and continue to do that. And then over here, I'm doing a lot of emotional well-being workshops. And so I just wanted to put that on there because that is a focus of how I'm going to build the financial wealth by growing those 2 businesses. So what is that going to be for you? And giving yourself permission to be able to grab images that really speak to the true desires you have on your heart. And remind yourself that it's going to be different than other people, and that's totally fine. Something you'll notice here too is I use a lot of words and sometimes I've used quotes as well. So those are kind of fun to put on there as well. So whatever works for you to make your board. But once you make your board, please don't just tuck it away. This is something where, again, your reticular activating system needs to be able to see it every day, to be able to look at it and remind yourself that you're looking at ways and getting curious of how am I creating that sunroom and how are we creating the business that generates the revenue that we want to feel abundant with? And how am I getting that white BMW SUV? Like, how is that actually going to come to fruition? I need to be looking at this so then it gives my brain a roadmap to be able to go to work to find solutions for it. That's why we use vision boards. So let's recap for a quick second. You're going to download this workbook. And inside the workbook, you're going to have the journal prompts that other vision board programs just don't offer. They want to get to just making the board without looking at the mindset that takes to create the board that is believable for you. You're going to do that and you're then going to create the board, but once you do all of the steps within the workbook. And from there, I would love it if you would even message here and let us know how it's going for you. And if you get stuck, reach out. You'll find me on Instagram. You'll find me on Facebook. You'll find my different messages on my weekly emails that you want to sign up for to get those. And so that you can have and create the best year ever by having a vision board in front of you that you look at and feel excited about and feel confident that everything on this board is ready for you to create. I wish you abundance. I wish you confidence, and I wish you much success as you move forward in this year of creating the life that you truly desire.